Hey, what's up YouTubers, Lee John Blackmore here at Super Easy Guitar. So this week we've got a basic lesson on how to start two-finger tapping like in the 80s, okay? Let's zoom in and have a closer look. So I guess most videos on YouTube when they teach two-finger tapping, you've kind of always stumbled on this Van Halen piece. So I can show you that as well, all right? And it's really I want to show you how to actually get the technique. So the first thing to think about on your guitar are your amp settings, okay? Now I'm currently plugged in and I've got a bit of drive. I've got a bit of drive on there, a bit of reverb, and also delay, as you can hear, okay? Just a bit. That just helps things sustain a bit. It helps them ring out a bit. So it just makes it sound a bit more interesting. Okay, so it continues the note after you've stopped playing it, okay? But the first thing we're going to look at is the left hand. Now, I'm just going to show you this simple, which sounds pretty cool, right? Just on the top E string. So start off with your first finger at the 5th fret on the top E string, the thinnest string. Then what I'm going to do is hammer on the 7th fret on the top E as well. So you want that. And you see the delay is helping me out a bit. Okay? That's what you want. And the reason it's called a hammer on is because you're hammering the finger down like a hammer onto the string. Okay? Then with this hand, you're going to put your thumb round about the 12th fret, okay, depending on the size of your hands, but that's where you're going to put your thumb. You're going to rest it on there. For now, okay, we can look at this technique, adapting this technique later on, okay? So for now, you're going to put your thumb on there, resting. With this first finger now, what you're going to do, I've just got my first finger on my left hand in the 5th fret. That's not moving for now, okay? And then I'm just going to push. I'm going to push that top E string just softly. You don't want to be pushing too hard down like that. That's kind of crazy. It's just soft. Just kind of flicking it. Okay, and then I'm going to put the hammer on. So I'm going to go push, hammer. Now we just do a little push at the beginning, and that just helps to get momentum to start us going, okay? And then look, our finger's all ready to go, and we're going to use our first finger and we're going to tap down, hammer on into this 12th fret. Okay? So it's going to be push, hammer down the 7th, hammer down the 12th. Now if you're a noob, you might find these hammer-ons a little bit difficult in the beginning. But keep going with it. I was literally doing this with one of my 9-year-old students yesterday. I think he's 8 or 9. After 10 minutes, he had it nailed down. So what we do, we just push in the beginning. Okay? Push, hammer, hammer. Push, hammer, hammer. Push, hammer, hammer. Now, if you get 2 in a row, what you'll find is you don't have to do that push. We just do the push the first time, because once you've hammered down on that 12th fret, when you bring your fingers back off, it does a pull off for you, okay? So that's it, okay? That's the motion. And then what I can do, you can hear a little bit of noise, as you could in the beginning. You can actually get like a little gadget, and it's kind of like a little sweatband that you pull over the neck of the guitar. Some of them got Velcro on, and it just sits just above the nut, okay? You know this is the nut here, and it just sits above there. And what that does is just stops additional noise ringing out, because sometimes when we have the guitar up loud, you see we have a bit of extra noise and sustain, and it can sound a bit dirty and messy sometimes when you're playing, just like me at the beginning. So that's that. That'll defeat that problem. Well, most of it anyway, if you buy one of those little dampeners. Okay, I don't even know what they're called. All right, you'll have to Google it, because you know I'm not really into gizmos or gadgets. So now what we can do, we can move over onto the B string, and you can do exactly the same thing. And what you want to try and do is avoid hitting the G and the top E. So don't worry too much in the beginning about speed, okay? If you can get push, hammer, hammer, push, hammer, hammer. If you can get consistent like that, and you might find, because you're not used to using this finger as a hammer on, it might get a bit sore, and you need to build a callus on it. So in the beginning, if it gets a bit sore, you can swap it round and use the second finger. Okay, might feel a bit strange at the beginning, but I actually tap more often with my second finger, because often I hold a pick. I mean, I've got a pick here, I've got a little pick holder behind there. So if I was playing and then I wanted to do a bit of tapping, I can just tuck it in there. Okay. So that's another technique you can use if you want to tap with your second finger. So, but we want to start moving the left hand now. So before we were tapping, we were leaving our finger in the 5th fret and tapping with our 7, and also tapping on the 12th. Then what you can do, and you can hear a bit of noise there where I've hit the G string. Then what you can do is move the 3rd finger up from the 7th fret to the 8th fret and do the same thing. Go back down to the 7th fret. It's kind of nice, right? Okay, and then what you can do is move the whole thing down 1 fret, move it back up, move it back down. So you can see I've still got 2 frets in between. It's kind of a bit like this AC/DC thing. If you don't already know that. So move it up and down. Okay, and so on. So you could move it up, move it down, and you're going to get different sounds where you move about. So the general rule, I mean, all you're doing, you're adding an additional note to that scale. So if we played this scale, so on the B string, we could go 0, 2, 4, 5, 7, 9, 11, 12, okay? So you could go 2, 4, hammer on 7. Then you can move up 12, 7, 9. You could move all over the place, right? You could move up to the 15th. And I'm doing 11 and 12. I've come out of key. Mysterious, right? And then back into key. Okay, all I'm doing there is 12, 14, and 16. Okay, so there's tons of different options, and it's a good idea to just experiment with different stuff there, okay? So the other thing you might hear people doing when they're 2-finger tapping is getting this kind of popping sound. So usually what they're doing is incorporating the open string as well. Okay, so they're just using that open. So all I'm doing there is pushing over the 7th to open, hammering down the 2nd, and hammering down the 4th. And you kind of get this popping. You hear it on Van Halen's Hot for Teacher. You kind of hear it in those low strings. Too much kind of delay to play that today though. Okay, so all that's going on there is open, 3rd fret, hammer onto 7th fret, hammer onto 12th. Blah, 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 blah. You kind of get that popping noise, right? Then he moves over a string, and so on, okay? So the other thing that people normally teach with 2-finger tapping is this end section to Eruption. So I'll just give you a little taster. And his first finger, it's all played on the B string. His first finger is going to be in the 2nd fret and tap down on the 5th fret, okay? So 5th fret, and then I think that's the 9th fret. Okay, then we're going to move this to the 10th. So we're going to go 10th fret. Now we're staying the 10th fret, and we're going to move our left hand to the 4th and the 7th fret. And then we're going to tap 12th fret. Then we're going to move the left hand to 5 and 9. Still tapping on 12, but then I'm going to come to 13. But as I come to 13, I'm going to start tapping in 8 on the B string. So far we've got this. And then we're going to move this up. Okay, so we've got now 8 and 10 and 15. Then go to 17. And then we've got 9 and 12, 17. Okay, so just follow it through by ear and you'll work it out much easier, okay? So they're just the positions, okay? Listen to the original track to get the correct timing, okay? So there you have it, guys. Hope you enjoyed this week's lesson. Please don't forget, give me the thumbs up, hit that subscribe button if you'd like to receive these lessons every week. I've got some links below for t-shirts for sale and links to Spotify and Instagram and all that. I'd love to hear from you guys, okay? So I'll see you again the same time next week.